Hey everyone, it's Rightplan here from Novagamer. Today we are taking a change up from Shroud of the Avatar for a moment. We'll get some more videos of those up after this, but we're doing another Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. I've had a couple people requesting some hints on traps and pretty much wondering how our last castle went with the design that you saw. So if you haven't seen that last design, you can go back. It was actually our first design video we made. We will be doing other ones because obviously I'm going to have to rebuild my castle after this video. You'll see why. But it did go really, really well. So if you guys didn't see that design, you can take a look at it, and I got a lot of positive comments from people that attacked it. So that's why I started here. You'll see that within the last 24 hours, so that was one day, I won 15, 19, 16, and I lost a couple. But you got to look at, for instance, Adam, I gained 19 and lost 12, so I was positive there in the end. But anyways, so if you go down, you'll see like nice castle, annoying but nice. Keep going down. You got, well, you can pretty much read that one for yourselves. And if you keep going down, well done. So a lot of people really like the castle. It wasn't those castles that have the same thing over and over and over again. It actually had a nice fight at the end and traps to dodge at the beginning. So it made it quite an entertaining castle. I really liked it. Once again, if you haven't seen it, you can go check that video out. It was our Mighty Quest for Epic Loot castle design by Novagamer. We will do a number 2 shortly. I'm just going to get my mind processing and think up another one. But I have noticed some negative things that came with the design of the castle because I won a lot, so that I was assuming to be higher than 854 on my crowns, but I'll show you why I'm having issues getting past 1,000 on my crowns. There's some flaws to the game. Now I'm not sure if they're gonna fix these later, but just to give people a heads up so that when you do design your castle, you have to be aware that this is going to happen, and pretty much the only way to keep yourself high is you have to do a lot of attacking as well to get crowns. You can't just build a castle and hope that enough people attack that your castle stays way up in crowns. It will eventually go way down. I'll show you why. So for instance, like I said before, he got 19 and 12, but now if you go far down here, there's 2 instances that cause this to change. For instance, if somebody who is lower crowns than you, for instance this Shiru guy, who's lower crowns than you, once you beat them, I got 11 crowns. Whoop-de-doo. But then right after that, they did it again. Now that they knew my castle, they took their time. I watched the replay. They took their time through the whole thing. They finally beat my castle, and they got 30 crowns for it, and I lost 30. So even though I gained 11 because they beat it afterwards, I lost 30. They can easily correct this in the game if they made it so that nobody can get crowns from you for a certain amount of time, that they have to attack you again later. But there's people who will literally, I'll show you down here. You'll see all these zeros, for instance. This is like Darius Jagger, for instance. So he attacked me. Let me show you where I first got him. Nice defense. He got 9 crowns. So then he didn't like losing his crowns. So then he attacked, got 0, attacked. And then finally he attacked here and my defense lost. So he had to attack me that many times. My defense killed him that many times. And then all of a sudden you can see here he says no other choice but really tough defense. I looked at it and he actually pretty much played it as carefully and as cheap as he possibly could. And it was minus 16. So I went from gaining 9 to losing 16. So that extra 7 crowns that he got there was because he pretty much just attacked my castle over and over and over again until I finally did it, even though it was shielded on top of that. So yes, it affects your castle even if it's shielded. So doesn't matter how good your castle is, if somebody is persistent enough, eventually they will get through your defenses. And if you have really high crowns, they will take a crap ton from you when they make it through. So you have to keep that in mind, that even though your castle is getting tons of kills, it doesn't mean you're going to be super high without attacking the castles yourself. In a way, I can see why they added it in the game, but the other side, it's like if your castle is that good, you should get some kind of privilege behind it. Like, yes, if somebody does make it through first shot, they get tons of crowns, but they can't do it over and over and over again. But once again, the game is still relatively new. Well, relatively new in the open beta, so it's still going to have some issues. There's a lot of other minor little kinks that I've noticed, but this is one of the major ones. The other huge problem I've seen, and should be right here. Yeah, there it is. This is a huge problem. This happens a lot. There's even people naming their castles "Do Not Cheat" because as you can see, somebody is cheating. What happens is, okay, there's no way a level 22 with using 0 potions can get through a level 30 castle that level 30 people are dying to constantly without using a single potion. And here's the catch where you can see that it's also a cheat, is if you want to find out how he did it, click replay. And wait a second, you'll see what happens. Okay, yada yada yada, so I try to skip. Once he starts moving, boom. You can't watch this video being played. And the reason why you can't watch this video being played is because when you attack a castle, you're actually playing in kind of a temporary offline mode on your computer. Then they're allowed to run whatever program they're running or whatever backup thing they're doing to enable them to cheat. Whether he gives himself invincibility or extra damage or whatever, I don't know. But that's one flaw. Now, as you can tell by the scores here, not everybody's cheating. It's not like a crazy cheating game, but it does happen. So, now that that's all done, let's get to what everybody really wants in this video, and that is how to get past traps, because that's what we're doing. I just thought I would discuss my previous castle and give you guys my opinion on castle design, since it was after our first castle design video. But there you have it. So, let's go to defend. And so for this castle, for this video, sorry, I'm going to actually set up a couple different traps, show you guys how to set them up, and then show you how to beat the traps. Because I noticed a lot of people are dying to my traps very easily, and it almost seems like they don't know how to get past them super easily. So what I'll do is first I'll set up the most common one that you'll see in almost every single castle. Let me just... one sec here. No, go this way. I got the wrong piece. That's why it's not working. 1 second here. Here it is. So,
now this is what I call
people will see this so many times in a castle. It's ridiculous. Like, this is like the most common trap, and it's so easy to make it past. And I'll show you guys how. I'll build it really fast here for you, and then I'll prove to you just how easy this is to get by. So for those who haven't built this kind of a trap, I will also show you briefly what you do for it. So let me just place everything down, and then I'll explain it, and then we'll beat it. Alright, 1 sec here. You want to go to the wall. Now people put different amounts of these in here. It's completely up to your preference. Some people feel like they don't need tons, other people put tons in, but I'm going to act as if people put tons in, because really once you put in some, everybody will make it past, no matter what kind of extra you put in it. Alright, I'm just gonna go really quick like this. And if I missed a couple spots, it's not a huge issue. The main thing you want to learn is how to get past it, not how to make it look perfect, because you can do that with your own time. So there's 2 ways to do this part. So first I'll put down, so I'll put down a trap generator on this side, because we're pretty much done on this side here. Of course, 1 sec. I'll put another one over here. Alright, if this happens, there's a quick way to put these in. I don't know why I didn't do it in the first place. Start from the farthest back, then the farthest over, then the next farthest over, then put in these 2. So put in like one right here, one right here. There you go. So you can also do the, if you watch the previous videos, you can also hold down Alt and you can change them that way. I'll do the most common version of this. There is a lot of ways to get past this. but I'll just show you the most common that you'll see people do. There's tons of variations of this. And people normally, I know this is kind of a stupid one setup, but it's just giving you the general idea. And then once I get this all set up, I'll describe to you briefly how some differences are out there. One sec here. One there for those. One there for those, and one there for that. So, I know that this isn't exactly how you set it up. There is like different ways you can put in extra things that make it extra difficult and yada yada yada. But this is the general idea. So what you really want to do is kind of have the first two traps that you have here with your actual springboard traps. You actually want those shooting in this direction. So toward where the person's running in. The reason why is because every time they get bounced out, they'll briefly be stopped, and you want to put down your silencer here. What are they actually called again? I don't know. Me name them. Hush machine. So you want to put the you want to kind of put your hush machine right here, so that when they fly back and land, they can't instantly roll away or sprint away or dash, because because they will basically be silenced. And it happens almost every single time, so it works great. Some people put in 2 gelatinous walls, and then they'll load these ballistic cannons all the way around, so you'll have a whole ton of ballistic cannons, 2 gelatinous walls, but you'll still have this guy at the very back then, but it always has to be in the dead center of the farthest out gelatinous wall. And this really works really well. The only problem is that if somebody does know how to get past this well, it only really does damage to them once, maybe twice at the most, and normally a potion, they'll survive it. So that's this side of the trap, and that's why you have these 2 first springboards pointing that way. Now the reason why you have the other 3 springboards, so if you can see here, I have them pointing that way. Every single one of them is going towards the bombs. This is for one obvious reason. You want them to go into the bombs. The second reason that these 3 are opposite of these 2 is that you can change this up any way you want. So you can take this one and turn it around so it goes out here as well, and then have the last 2. It kind of just is a way to make it so that somebody doesn't know what to expect. They think that these first 2 are shooting this way, so the third one is definitely going to go that way. But you could make it go this way and then make the last 2 go that way. It gives somebody who's coming through not a huge heads up on what to do. This trap here is actually very common, because your whole point is to make them fly in here and blow up and die. Works great to people that don't know how to get past it. But now we will validate this. I do have to put in a creature though. One sec. Just put him in. Makes it easy. So you do have to make it through all this without hitting these trap boards, because unless you're a warrior or something, it's very difficult to fall in here and take this explosion. You can also throw some corrosion mines in the middle if you want to. That'll help with the damage if you're noticing that people aren't dying to the fire mines right off the get-go. So I will show you how to beat this trap now. Now this works with almost every single class. I think the only one that might have an issue with beating it this way is the runaway. So you're wondering, what do you do? Most people go in this way, straight in the center. That slows you right down. If you're using the warrior class, it probably works out great. The best way to go, though, is if you have any character that can dash or roll or charge. The runaway apparently makes this difficult because it's more of a teleport, but this is what you do. You just run along this wall, roll, you'll set that trap off, then you just do little circles. Once in a while you'll fly back, but you can just then go slow, like so. So for those who didn't see that, we'll do it one more time. I'll show you it works almost every time, so I didn't blow up that time.
School's in session.
So once again, come up along the side, do a roll, and if it doesn't work, wait a second, roll back the other way. See, so once again, sometimes you'll fly back like I just did there. So you will take damage, take a potion, but you won't die. But then you just come right back up at the wall again, roll, come in, circle, 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 wait for the bomb to go off, and roll through. There you go, still haven't died.
Mister.
So there you go. That trap is very easy to get past. That takes a little bit of practice to get those circles down just right. But when you do them at just the right speed, you'll get used to doing that, and it's easy as pie to make it past this trap. There's some variations of this trap that I've done to try to make it a little more difficult before I got to my awesome trap that got me tons of kills last time, which I will make that one again for you guys, for those who didn't see the last video. But one thing I did was I, for instance, put in 2 springboard traps on these sides. That makes it so if somebody tries to roll in, and I did it on another one where the springboard traps were almost this whole wall, so they couldn't even go down by the springboard traps. But this makes it so somebody can't get right beside it and do the roll. Now, that once again is still really easy to get past. There's 2 ways to get past this super easily. One I'll show you here now is you just run in, you let this hit you, take the damage but you roll off, and then you roll in and get the second one, like so. And then roll again. So that's one way you can get past that. I will just go back up here. The other way is obvious. You just set that one off, do your roll. Oh, let me do that again. Set that one off, do your roll, and then do your circles. And if you get flung up, just roll back before they go off. The thing is that even if you don't get that second roll just right, I'll show you here. Alright, even if you don't get that second roll just right, you can run towards and basically here, I'll stop here so I can point it out. Basically, if you're flinging this way, if you run that direction, through the opposite direction of the springboard, 9 times out of 10, you will not go flying in. It's when you stand directly on one like so that you'll fly in. But, watch. If I purposely... wait for the first one. So if I do that, the second one always seems to just push you back, like so. So once you're on the springboard, it seems to not throw you anymore. It's always that first one that throws you, and then all the ones after that kind of just push you. And as long as you run the opposite direction of the springboard, then you won't have an issue. So that is the first trap. Now hopefully this works without making me disconnect, because it's happened. Alright, perfect. Alright, so that is the first very common trap. I can't imagine anybody's played this game and gotten past like level 15 or 16 or so and hasn't seen that. So that's a very, very common trap. Let me just go through another one here with you. Another common trap that you'll see is the hamster wheel one. This one's it's actually a tiny bit more difficult. And it looks like it's simpler, but it's pretty much the same setup. So here, I'll show you it real fast. It's pretty much the same setup. Now, I'm not going to put the bombs in. I'll put a couple just to show you like the actual bomb zone. I'll do it like so. So this is the bomb zone. Obviously, you can put these in. There's no sense in putting them in, because I'm just going to show you this real quick. It would take forever to make a video of all the traps put together for you. So the same thing, I kind of push them back a little bit, so there we go. And put another one of these in. So here's another one that I am going to actually try in my next castle, but not in this fashion. It's kind of a mixture of this and my old trap, which I'll show you in the next video I make where I design it. So this is another way that I've seen people do, is they will put those in front of it instead of a gelatinous goo. Sounds pretty stupid, but if you make sure these are going in opposite directions, it makes them so that they're constantly going back and forth in a crisscross motion, and it's difficult to get through and do the circle motion to unlock that first trap. Now, you can, for instance, add a whole bunch of these things out here. I'm not going to put tons out there, If you wanted to make it even more difficult, you could put your hush machine right here so that when they go flying back, they're in the hush zone. Or you can put it where this one is. But either way, you just fool around with it. You can move these out further to put these ones in further, like so. And as you can see, you can put this way back in this corner and still get those. And you can put this other one way back in this corner and still get those, and then put this over here to get those two traps. So that, if you move this one back, that gives you 2 whole rows to put these things in, because you can put more here. So now you'd have 2 whole rows of fire machines. You can swap these out here, so this is more in the center, like so. And you can fill this up with fire machines, so every time this bounces you out, they're going to get onslaughted with those. This is actually way more difficult than that gelatinous goo. I fooled around with this one, and you'll see here, when I go to validate this one, this one seems like it'd be easier to get past.
What passes for
but
a castle these days?
that stupid wheel makes it that much more difficult. So you come in, you gotta wait, get it just right, and then they knock you out. Then you gotta get in here without being knocked back out again. And as you can see, I'm almost dying just from the fire things out there.
Just need a second.
So I still made it through because I'm used to that, but that's using... Basically, the only thing keeping me alive there is this trick here. Is where if you're stunned a little bit, you can just keep running through them like so. But that trick there works out great. So that's... If you were going to choose between the gelatinous goo one and this one, I would definitely choose this one over the gelatinous goo. Only because everybody does that gelatinous goo, and it's actually so easy to get through. Now, you saw how easy it is just to roll and set off that first trap. Now, it's a little more difficult to do a roll, set off first trap this way, because you're further out, and if you roll, you get knocked in like so. And I'm gonna die. See? So that one can be beaten. You saw how to do it. You pretty much just charge in and do that first circle right on that first trap. And then if you get knocked back, you're just going to have to roll or dash or do whatever you can to get back in there and then start running the opposite direction of what they are. That's why you want to put these things in different directions every time, except for the ones that you want to actually fling onto the bombs, because you want to make it so that the person doesn't know which direction is the proper direction to run without these springboards flying them out. So that is a really good design. So feel free to use any of these designs I'm showing you. They work out great. I'll show you now the design that I just made on my last castle, which did a lot of killing. Okay, so for this one, let me just, yeah, right here. Go back to rooms. You want my long corridor one, which is, I believe, this one. Nope. Just a sec here. There it is. So, this is the one you want. So pick this up so we can actually show you this trap. So what I normally do for this one is I'm not going to put down the trap generator for this only until the end, because it doesn't really matter, just to give you guys the idea. You want spike traps to be all leading up to the big trap. The reason why you want these all leading up, and most people don't know to do this that well. Now you put these trap generators in here, so move these ones back a little bit, and then that will do those, and more trap generators here. And that's how you fill those, make those ones live. Now, the thing that most people don't know is the reason why you want to set these up is not because you're trying to kill the person. These floor traps, actually, you would need a ton of them to kill somebody. That's not the point of them. People think that's the point of them, and they're like, oh, that was so easy. But no, the whole reason is that when you get to this final fight at the end, you don't want to run all the way back through to the beginning and go through all those traps with a whole bunch of minions attacking you. So that's kind of the reason why they're there. They're kind of a deterrent to stop person from wanting to run all the way back through. Because for those who haven't seen my previous video, you can actually just run and grab all the monsters here at once. Doesn't matter how good this room is set up with traps. Somebody's just running, attack them and run out. They can run back to the beginning, and then there's no traps, and they come down this bridge bit by bit, and you can just take them out. That's how people have been killing a lot of monsters if you have a huge pile of defense. So part of the thing you need to do in your castle defense is make it so they do not want to run back to the beginning. So that's kind of why you throw these in. So you can make it however long you want and all that stuff, and you leading up to this. Now my last castle had 2 of these traps and then a final fight at the end, so people really didn't want to go back through. I'll show you here now how I set that trap up, and then I'm going to show you how I changed. Now I'm going to change it in the next video. Actually, you know what? I'll just save it for the next video so you guys can see it when I do that. Yeah, that's right. I'm leaving you hanging. So for those who didn't see, this is how we made it. You simply... Now you want to put these in 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's basically a 4x5. And one more. There we go. Now you can put, once again, you can put in some of the corrosion mines in there to increase the damage. But then you want to put springboards in. Now the springboards are all going to be pointing inwards into the bombs. And then one here on this little entrance going that way. So basically all the directions are throwing them back in. No, I want the little trap. This is another thing I've been having. I don't know if people have been having this issue, but I have to turn my map sometimes to get things on my floor since one of the updates came through. I don't know if anybody else has been having that issue, but I definitely have been. So, now what I did was I also had 2 creatures in here. I had one there, and another one there. And you want to make sure that your creatures, when you pick them up, are turned so that the bigger round blue part of them is as close to the bombs as possible. So when you pick them up, you'll see that, I'll move over here. As you see, he's got kind of a blue radius in front, which is his target zone that moves. You want to make sure the larger part is pointed towards the bombs, which gives them more aggro range. And then, of course, make sure that both of them have the other person selected as somebody to assist when they get attacked. So, I almost have the traps all done here. So you have the bombs in, you have your springboards, you have your gelatinous goo. And then what I had was a couple of ballistic cannons here. Trap generator here and here. That's to get those traps and to help with these ones. And then I also had where was it? Oh yeah, here, just a sec. That's not supposed to be up there. Let's just put one of these in here for now. There we go. So that works. So now you got this gap here, so you say, okay. You can either do one thing. I put down another row. You can do 2 different ideas here. Remember, the key thing is you do not want them to be able to go on this trap and roll through the other side. So the best way to do it, that's why I left a little gap here, because the best thing to do is, that's kind of the easy way to make it without using a lot. I highly suggest to go and put that extra row in. Then I took this out. So that was the first way I had it set up. Then the second way I took that out, put that in, and then I moved this one up. And then I added some cannons and whatever not in here to be extra damage. You can change all this stuff around leading up to it. But this is pretty much the setup that I had going up to it. You get to put more cannons in. I think I also at one point made it so that there was a rat trap there, the hamster wheel, because these can be actually moved back 1 space, as you can see. So you can throw a lot into here to confuse them. Hamster wheel can go right there, see? So this all fits in. So if you follow this method, you can have this set up. Now, I had 2 of those set up. Took out a lot of people. And once again, you can watch the last video if you want to see me make this bit by bit and do the whole map. It did a lot of kills, as you saw by the record. But I'll show you how to beat this now. So we don't really need these, because I'm just going to show you how to beat this trap. So this is pretty much the trap right here. I want to make sure these guys are set to headshot or spread eagle, whichever you prefer. It really depends. I really like the spread eagle lately, but the headshot has helped. So you gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. So to validate this is a really, really hard trap if you try to do it the way most people do it. I will show you a way to beat this trap super, super easy. I wish I didn't do this, because now everybody knows how to beat this trap easy, and it's my favorite trap to build. But this is how you do it. Run into the lattice goo, roll into the bombs, and then roll out. Just like that. There you go. Bombs all set off. They can't kill you now. Come back here, drink your potion. These guys are still trying to get you. You can just run in, roll past their bombs, and then roll back out. And now you can kill them. So there you have it. Super, super easy. So I'll show you the change I'm going to make to that, because I'm going to fool around with it. I'm going to try to make that even more difficult, because as you can see, that is super easy. In case people thought I got lucky there, I will actually do it one more time, because somebody at Eep's Castle who I was fighting had the same setup I have, not leading up to the trap, but they had pretty much the same trap, and I did just that, and they tried to call me a cheater. But I will do it again. Just watch. Roll in and out. Very simple. And there you have it. So that's all you have to do to beat that trap. So pretty much have a dash. Now there's people out there that don't have dashes, that don't use them. All I can say to you is it's highly suggestive that when you're level 30, especially at level 30, you want to have some kind of dash or roll or anything at all that can help you with that. So that's a few traps that we can go over that are pretty difficult to get past, that people had issues with, including my glorious trap. So watch our last one, see how we built that, see what led up to it. I'm going to make another video after this that's going to be the creation of my new defense. So if anybody wants to find that out, just subscribe above and you can check it out when I have that released. And don't forget to comment below if there's any other traps you guys are having issues with. Throw me a line, let me know what that trap is, give me a best description you can. I'll try to recreate it and I'll try to beat it and show you the best way to beat it. But yeah, I have done all these with the archer. As you can see, I am leveling a warrior, but these tricks that I use to get past them are pretty much, as you can see, for any kind of class to get past. So it's really not that difficult. They both, all the classes have the dash. The only one that might cause you an issue is the runaway. But as you can see, I don't even bother unlocking them because I don't really care. I've got 3 other classes to level, so I'm kind of having fun with that. But any other traps, send us a line, let us know. Check out our other videos that we have out there. So subscribe to see our future ones. And as always, happy gaming.